And thank you for whoever began the singing of God Save the Queen, because it's a new era, as everybody is saying, and everybody's going to experience that differently. I wanted to say a special word of welcome to John Young, who's with us this morning. John is a Robbie Burns interpreter. Grew up in St. James United Church, just up on 107th Avenue. Makes his home in Ottawa now, and was back visiting his mother, Faye. Is Faye here? There's Faye. And was going to actually be singing this service last Sunday, but came down with COVID and is all better now, so we're glad to have him here. And the focus of the service actually doesn't change that much. It's just made a little more poignant because of Queen Elizabeth's deep connection with Balmoral and the Scottish Highlands. And much of the music that you're going to be hearing is about the Highlands. So we're glad that you're here, John. Thank you for being with us. And so the original title of this proclamation and service was Songs of Longing and Lament, because last week the scripture passages, both from the Hebrew scriptures and from the Christian scriptures, spoke very deeply of that sense of loss and longing. And guess what? So do today's, in a slightly different way. And one of the things you need to know about the Christian and Hebrew scriptures, which actually sets it apart from much other religious literature, is that so much of it has to do with that sense of loss and longing. Because so much of it is written at a time when either the people of Israel are in exile in Babylonia and remembering what the life that they had and the hope that there may be a return to that life at some point in the future, if not for themselves, at least for their children. And so much of their scripture is about remembering and holding on to that. And so the reading from the book of Exodus this morning, you get the sense that somebody's wandering around behind the people of Israel while they're doing all these things and setting up golden calves. But really, these stories are written much later as a way of saying, here's what we've lost. Here's the promise that we may have it once again. Same thing with the Christian scriptures and the understanding that whoever is writing these scriptures is living in a time of occupation. We have Roman occupation, and the Romans are not particularly kind landlords. And that's a term used directly because they've turned everybody into indentured servants. And so the hope there is too that the people will somehow be restored and the nation will be restored, if not geographically, at least spiritually and emotionally and in terms of a community, that there will be a community that once was that will be transformed and reborn. Now, if you think of the poetry of Robbie Burns, you may know that there are Burns societies in every corner of the world, and I think including Antarctica. And there's a reason for that. It's because the music of Robbie Burns and the Scottish poets was music and poetry that spoke to the people who undertook one of the greatest diasporas in modern history, or in any history, for example. When the Scottish enclosures threw people off the land and sent them to the ends of the earth. And everybody remembered what it was to be at home and have a place. And so they kept those songs and those stories alive as a way of saying, maybe if not for us, but for our children or our grandchildren. And of course, those songs take on a special familiarity, even if you are not Scottish or even if they are not the songs of your own particular heritage, because they speak of that deep longing that everybody has for a place to call home, a community to call home, and that sense that we are not quite there yet. But even in the longing and the lament, there is a promise that it will be. And of course, the songs that you're going to be hearing this morning, that John's going to be singing, take on a special poignancy, as I mentioned earlier, because many of them they all come from the Highlands, but the Highlands and Balmoral Castle was one of the very special places that Queen Elizabeth loved and felt most at home at. So I'm going to just do a brief introduction of each song and just listen and let these songs take you wherever they will. To your home to the hope that you have for a home or a new beginning or a place of belonging. So our first one is Flow Gently, Sweet Afton. And there's not much to say about it. Afton is a river, and the person who is singing it is not there. But his partner or his love has been left there, and he is remembering her with deep love and affection. And when it says that she's sleeping there, well, you know how many metaphors there are for sleep. So, Flow Gently, Sweet Afton.
Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, I'll sing thee a song in thy praise. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. Thou stark dove whose echo resounds through the glen, ye wild whistling blackbirds in yon thorny den. Thou green-crested lapwing, thy screaming forbear. I charge you, disturb not my slumbering fair. How lofty, sweet Afton, thy neighboring hills, far marked with the courses or clear winding rills. There daily I wander as noon rises high, my flocks and my Marys sweet caught in my eye. How pleasant thy banks and green valleys below, where while in the woodland the primroses blow, there oft as mild evening weeps over the lea, the sweet-scented birch shades my Mary and me. Thy crystal stream, Afton, how lovely it glides, and winds by the cot where my Mary resides. How wanton thy waters her snowy feet lave, as gathering sweet flowerets she stems thy clear wave. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet river, the theme of my lays. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream.
Beautiful. So this next song is either called Macpherson's Lament or Macpherson's Farewell, and it's a longing of a different kind because it's not so much a longing for a place, but for a situation of right relations. Macpherson is kind of like the Scottish Robin Hood or Rob Roy, and he's been captured by the English, and they're going to put him to death on the gallows. And according to the story, a reprieve is coming, and it's on its way, but the soldiers in charge of the execution set the clocks ahead, so the reprieve doesn't arrive in time. But again, it's a song that speaks of the longing of those who are oppressed for a measure of freedom and a measure of justice. So, Macpherson's Farewell.
Farewell, ye dungeons dark and strang, the wretch's destiny. Macpherson's time will not be lang on yonder gallows knee. Say rantingly and say wantonly, say dauntingly get he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. Oh, what is death but parting breath on many a bloody plain? I've dared his face, and in this place I scorn him yet again. Say randomly and say wantonly, say dauntingly get he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. Untie these bands frae off my hands and bring me to my sword. And there's no a man in all Scotland but I'll brave him at a word. Say rantingly and say wantonly, say dauntingly get he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. I've lived a life of sturt and strife. I die by treachery. It burns my heart, I must depart and no avenged be. Say randomly and say wantonly, say dauntingly get he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree. Now farewell light, thou sunshine bright, and all beneath the sky. May coward shame disdain his name, the wretch that dare not die. Say randomly and say wantonly, say dauntingly get he. He played a spring and danced it round below the gallows tree.
So farewell to the Highlands. Really, the song speaks for itself, and it is that longing of somebody who is not there and yet wants to be. And it's certainly a longing for a specific place and a specific location, but also it's that longing for everything that place represents, that sense of family and doing activities that are associated with that perhaps can't be done wherever the person is. And that longing for reunion, to be back where one belongs. So, farewell to the Highlands.
My heart's in the Highlands, my heart is near. My heart's in the Highlands, chasing the deer. Chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the Highlands, wherever I go. Farewell to the Highlands, farewell to the North, the birthplace of valor, the country of worth. Wherever I wander, wherever I rove, the hills of the Highlands forever I love. Farewell to the mountains I covered with snow. Farewell to the straths and green valleys below. Farewell to the forests and wild hanging woods. Farewell to the torrent and loud pouring floods. Farewell to the Highlands, my heart is near. My heart's in the Highlands, chasing the deer. Chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the Highlands, wherever I go.
My grandparents were great Kenneth McKellar fans. I don't know if that name means anything to anybody here. He was one of the great Scottish singers. And I remember hearing Loch Lomond, probably for the first time when I was about 5 years old. And I had no idea that it actually was a place. But anyway, even hearing it then, as a 5-year-old child, I could appreciate the longing that went into that song. And of course, it's the song about people who are parting and who may be able to reconnect again or reunite again in the place that is so significant to both of them. But again, it's the yearning and the promise that that reunion might take place against incredible odds that makes it such a powerful song of homecoming or longing for home. So, Loch Lomond.
And do join in on the chorus if you know it.
Of course.
yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before ye, but me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep sides of Ben Lomond, where in soft purple hue the Highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before ye, but me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping, but the broken-hearted kens nae second spring again, though the woeful may cease fro their grieving. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before ye, but me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond.
At this time in our service, normally we would be collecting the offering and passing plates around, but we're not quite there yet. So the offering plates are at the back if you would like to leave your offering there, but we still have an offertory. So here's John again, Wild Mountain Time.
Oh, the summer time has come, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme blooms around the blooming heather. Where ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. Where ye go, lassie, go. I will build my love a bower by yon cool crystal fountain, and around it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Where ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. Where ye go, lassie, go. I will range through the wild and the deep glens said dreary, and return with the spoils to the bower, oh my dearie. Where ye go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to a wild mountain thyme, all around the bloomin' heather. Where ye go, lassie, go. If my true love she were gone, I would surely find another, tip a wild mountain thyme, all around the bloomin' heather. Where ye go, lassie, go. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and auld lang syne? For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet for auld lang syne. And there's a hand my trusty fear and is a hand o' thine, and we'll take a recht good willie wacht for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet for auld lang syne.